And I just kept thinking, holy smokes, everyone is so far behind Tesla that it's like not even funny. It's like scary how far behind everyone is.
Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. Up until recently, Kyle from Out of Spec has been somewhat skeptical of FSD, and I consider him to be one of the most unbiased sources of EV information on the internet. So, noting his acknowledgement of how advanced version 14 is and how far ahead Tesla is should definitely be noted. It was a very exciting weekend in the Tesla sphere, and no worries, I'm not going to drone on about news that's already spread like wildfire, but we've seen our first two Tesla Model Ys in Austin with no one in them doing some testing. I have not seen any confirmed public passenger rides with no safety monitors yet, but this of course is a great sign that Tesla will hit Elon's goal of removing the safety monitors in Austin by the end of this year. Some are saying they're expecting the Robotaxi pricing to come way down once the safety monitors are removed, but I disagree. I would not be surprised if Tesla's been pricing Robotaxi rides as if no one was in them, because it knew it was only a matter of time and the steady state business needs to be modeled sans monitors. And Tesla's pricing doesn't need to come down. It's already undercutting Waymo and Uber by over 50% in many cases, so the pricing is just fine to take over the Austin market. I'm expecting quick fleet scaling in January as mentioned, and I just hope everyone takes a little time to celebrate this milestone. Many of us have waited a long time in the midst of plenty of skepticism and hate, and Tesla's executing as we knew it would, and 2026 really is shaping up to be Tesla's most exciting year ever. As Elon said, testing is underway with no occupants in the car. And there have been at least two Model Ys with no one in them driving around Austin, and they did indeed have different license plates. I do think it's important to highlight that almost everyone at Tesla has been talking about this milestone. Ashok said, and so it begins. The Tesla Robotaxi account leaving the nest. Wes Morrill, it'll be a crazy transition, a bit like when the agents in the Matrix hijack bystanders, manually driven Teslas suddenly replaced with Robotaxi with an OTA. Eric, the lead cybercab engineer, from a few to millions. Kamal Gupta, who works on Optimus at Tesla. Look ma, no safety driver. Julian Ibars, the Optimus AI lead. Unsupervised FSD scaling in 1, 2, 3, go. How about the official Tesla accounts? The fleet will wake up via an OTA software update. We have millions of Teslas around the world with AI4 capable of running this very software and shifting to unsupervised with a free over-the-air update overnight, and perhaps millions more if Tesla can deliver with FSD 14 Lite for Hardware 3 cars in Q1. Now, this has been said so many times that it doesn't mean that much anymore to some of us because we've heard it 5,000 times. But if you just stop and really think it through for a few minutes, you can begin to understand the magnitude of what's about to happen. And as I've been saying all along, I still don't think Tesla's financials are going to move materially until the second half of 2026, but we should all know by now that the market will start pricing all of that in ahead of time. The Tesla account again, slowly and then all at once. We've been firmly in the slowly phase, and sometime very soon we're about to shift into the all at once phase, which again means millions of cars that become hardware and software capable overnight of operating without someone in the vehicle. And yes, we know regulations will be the limiting factor in many markets. But guess what? Most of them will get sorted out. It's only a matter of time. And when they do, Tesla will be waiting in the wings, ready to deliver the update. And I have to say, Zach from Jerry Rig Everything lately has made me want to start a new channel where I can just kind of talk and not be as focused on dense information-packed videos, because the man is so far off the deep end and it would be fun to push back on what he's been saying. Just so we're clear, he's now arguing that Tesla's robotaxis are remote operated and Tesla's only showing them on Twitter every 6 months to pump the stock. I said on X I was eager to see how the skeptics and doubters would move the goalposts, and Here's one of those answers. It's just completely absurd to me that somebody with such a large audience can be so deluded on certain topics that they claim to know about. Let it serve as an important reminder, just because somebody has a sizable audience does not mean they know what they're talking about. Jonathan shared his Robotaxi progress chart, and that means we went from a launch in Austin on June 22nd to safety monitors removed at least for testing on December 14th, which is 175 days or 5 months and 23 days. And the hope is going forward for each new city, that timeline will continue to shrink from launch of the public service to driverless testing and ultimately fully driverless rides. And guys, to be clear, I agree. Tesla testing fully monitorless and allowing a paid customer in the vehicle fully monitorless are quite different, and that will be another huge milestone. But I'm comfortable saying right now, it's a foregone conclusion at this point. It's just a matter of time, and whether it happens in the next 15 days or early January, it is right around the corner. And to keep speaking as if it's not going to happen is just foolish and shows an utter lack of understanding of why Tesla's ready to go now. What do I mean by that? Colin said FSD 14 has been absolute trash for me. The car hesitates switching into wide open lanes and just bounces along the lines. At this point, I'd rather have the last version. I loved FSD and I'm hating it now. But let's just go ahead and watch this video that's apparently causing Colin to hate FSD. Now, I'll admit, certain things like this, especially if it's someone experiencing it for the first time, would make them a bit uneasy. But in no way is this a safety critical situation. So as I've been saying, the things that Tesla still needs to work on, speed changes, parking, lane changes for some users, and a few other things, are not something that has to stop Tesla from going fully driverless. And that's where everybody gets lost in the is FSD solved versus not debate, because you have to define what does solved mean. Does it mean perfect in every single situation ever, or does it mean good enough to go driverless and get you from A to B safely? Because I think it should be obvious those are two very different things. Plenty of people did tell Colin to calibrate his cameras because not everyone is experiencing these problems, but I will say he's not the only one either. So while there are things to iron out, including navigation, it seems clear to me that safety critical situations are incredibly rare for the fleet at scale outside of Austin, which means they're going to be near zero in Austin, where they've been super focused. And as you can see, there are plenty of anecdotes out there of FSD working in the snow, in the fog, in the rain, at night. So the way I see it at this point, the only argument bears have left is that Tesla doesn't have scale, but as I think most of us would agree, that should be coming in the first half of 2026. I really loved this chart that CERN shared. He said only 0.1% of the US population know what's coming. All of these numbers will at least get us in the ballpark. US population, 343 million. Drivers, 243 million. Tesla owners, 4 million. And then of those, FSD users, about 500,000 that maybe do know what's coming. And as Elon said last December, the brutal reality of the situation will hit like a tsunami towards the end of next year, talking about how advanced Tesla's software is. I'd call that a pretty accurate prediction from Elon that he likely won't get much credit for outside of our little Tesla circle. So we've all been trying to tell people, but just remember, their ignorance is our alpha. And speaking of this driverless testing, Pierre Ferragu said, big deal. Dan Ives put out a new note saying heading into 2026, this marks a monster year ahead for Tesla and Elon as the autonomous and robotics chapter begins. Heading into 2026, we think it will be a game changer and define Tesla's future. But more importantly than the hyperbole at the end, he said, we expect in early 2026 an easing of the federal framework for autonomous, with more power going to the federal regulators, with states having less authority on the autonomous rules framework, likely under an executive order. So either he's talking to people in politics and he knows something we don't, that maybe another EO is coming down the pike early next year, perhaps one that's much more focused on AVs alone. But since this note was put out today, and that executive order we talked about that had to do with AI deregulation at the federal level was last week, my assumption here would be that Dan's expecting another one. And he said, we believe Tesla could reach a $2 trillion market cap over the coming year, and in a bull case scenario, $3 trillion by the end of 2026. Our bull case scenario is $800 for Tesla over the next 12 to 18 months. We estimate that Tesla will own around 70% of the global autonomous market over the next decade, as no other company in the world can match the scale and scope of Tesla, coupled by its broadening AI footprint. And yes, I've criticized Dan in the past, but clearly he's back in the he gets it camp, and I believe what he said here is accurate. And that 70% figure of the global AV market, there is a world where for multiple years over the next decade, Tesla owns even more than that. And guys, the math is not hard. Tesla can get to 100,000 vehicles in a robotaxi fleet relatively easily. Waymo getting to 10,000 would be an uber bullish scenario even by their own company's projections. Outside of that, it's mostly just crumbs. And with those numbers alone, Tesla would own 91% of the autonomous market, with Waymo at about 9%. And with that napkin math, even if you give the rest of the industry 30,000 units and Tesla stays at 100,000, that's still 77% of the global AV market. And it's probably a good time to remind everybody that Tesla's robotaxi permit in Texas is actually statewide. It's not limited to Austin. Tesla has the permit it needs from the state to offer a ride-hailing service throughout Texas. And Ethan McKenna is now saying Tesla is now operating Robotaxi 24/7 in Austin as of December 11th at 2 a.m. The average wait time was around 9.5 minutes between 2 and 6 a.m., which were previously the downtime hours. And Waymo's also 24/7 in Austin, so of course Tesla needs to match at the least what Waymo is doing. I still get plenty of messages of people asking me to comment on things like this. We have Oguz saying that Uber's going to be the biggest winner of the robotaxi revolution. He said neither Waymo or Tesla are active outside the US, and their scaling capabilities are limited as they're creating the distribution from the ground. First of all, classifying Waymo and Tesla in the same group when it comes to scaling capabilities is the height of absurdity, so immediately that should be a red flag for this post's credibility. But forget the global market for a second. Tesla has basically the entire United States it can still scale to. I won't linger here, but I'm just curious, what am I missing? Why is it so hard for people to grasp that a ride-hail service without a driver is going to fundamentally be superior to services with a driver? The driver is one of the biggest costs for operating that service. So when you remove that, companies have the ability to charge lower fares. And that doesn't even touch on all of the other things, like people wanting to be by themselves and women not wanting to be in the car with a man they don't know. And that list goes on. And then finally, how is Uber going to scale with all of these fully driverless robotaxis? Because outside of Waymo, there aren't really many options out there. And as we know, Waymo does not have any clear path to actual scale. So I could go on here, but personally, I think this thesis is ridiculous unless Tesla were to team up with Uber, which I do not think is going to happen. And my guess is by late 2027 or into 2028, everybody will understand why Uber is not, in fact, going to be a winner of the robotaxi revolution. That's because no other companies are going to have generalized autonomy anytime in the next few years. You can mark my words. And to make all of this excitement possible, we know the Tesla team of AI engineers has been working weekends and holidays to push this tech forward, and for the past few months, I've also been working 7 days a week. I'm not proud of this, I don't recommend it, but it's what's required of me in this season of life, and I really have needed every bit of energy and focus I can muster, which is why AG1 is still a crucial part of my routine. I'm trying to take Elon's advice to bring an awesome physical product to market, and I'll share more about that soon, but I really do look at AG1's next-gen formula and the B vitamin complex, and believe it's playing a big role in converting the food I eat into ATP, cellular energy, as many people have deficiencies in B vitamins that's linked to fatigue, low energy, and poor concentration. And also CoQ10 or coenzyme 10. Go ahead, look it up for yourself. I do not get stressed easily, but my to-do list and the pressure on me to deliver has never been higher, and so I want to make sure I'm fueling my body and my mind well. AG1's berry flavor is still my go-to, and these days I'm sipping it throughout the afternoon, during and after my workout, and as I wrap up my Electrified research for the day. I think AG1 Next Gen would make for an awesome gift for friends or family if you're already on board, but if you haven't tried it it yet. Right now, you can use my link in the description, and when you first subscribe, you'll get an AG1 welcome kit, a bottle of vitamin D3K2, a morning person hat, and you'll get to try each new flavor of AG1 and their new sleep supplement AGZ. That's $126 in free gifts for new subscribers. Cheers. On the customer FSD front, Roger shared this video saying I vibe coded an update to the Tesla Dashcam SEI Explorer. Supplemental enhancement information. While this is a cool feature, even just direct from Tesla, there's a problem. These figures can be manipulated. Here's an example of that, showing the car going 321 kilometers per hour, which is roughly 200 miles per hour. You can also see in this video FSD is being turned on and off easily. So I think Tesla might need to do some sort of digital signing, something with cryptography, where anytime one of these dash cam viewers is actually altered, the cryptographic signature becomes invalid. Now, yes, Tesla will have access to the actual data, but I just wanted to put this warning out there. On the latest version of FSD 14.2.1.2.5, I've only had it as of this morning, so I'm not ready to comment on changes, but others are saying speed profiles are significantly improved. Hurry mode is no longer capped at 10 miles an hour over the speed limit. Lane changes are performed much more confidently, and merging, switching lanes, and passing are all performed with zero interventions. Perhaps the most natural feeling of highway driving in an FSD update in some time. Back to Roger using .2.5, driving to the store during a winter storm, the whole drive in Mad Max mode. He said perfect speed and selection and modulation, handling slides and loss of traction, perfect mix of being cautious and confident. Tesla Quack shared this video of FSD 14.2.1 avoiding some road debris on the highway successfully. Yoon Tasai, Tesla engineer, said it's important to note vision only makes this kind of reasoning possible because the context is so dense. LiDAR and radar would not give you enough resolution nor time to see these trails of road debris. At best, they need to pair with actual environmental photons to reason. In the end, everything leads to vision. CNET just came out with an article. I drove over 100 miles with FSD and never touched the wheel. It's remarkable, and I'm fully convinced this is the future of driving. But we need to get it right. This is the future of riding. I never felt the need to take over, merging onto freeways, dodging cable car tracks and cyclists, reading construction signs like a seasoned local. The car just got on with it. Lombard Street, everyone knows it as the world's crookedest street. FSD didn't just handle it, it crushed it. The system excelled where I expected it to falter. My only real gripe, stop signs. It's a bit too reserved, to which I would say, thank you, NHTSA. Sarcastically, of course. It rained, it got foggy, but FSD just kept going. This changes everything. More we can file under the Great Awakening. And listen, the new Grok integration with Tesla's in-car navigation is incredible. I had to go out today and do some testing. Here are the results. I need to stop at a bathroom.
Quickest bathroom is at Complex on 3, just 1.2 miles. Adds 4 minutes to your route. Add it now as first stop.
Yes.
Route updated.
I changed my mind. I don't want to stop at a supercharger. Remove that from the navigation now.
Supercharger removed.
I need some toothpaste and a toothbrush. Stop wherever's closest where I can get that.
Route updated. Complex. Then, Family Pharmacy at Street for toothpaste and toothbrush. Best Buy, Country Fair. 5 minutes to first stop. It's on your screen.
Move the Family Pharmacy to the first stop. I want to go there first.
Route updated.
What's one of the most visited tourist sites in this location?
Park is the most visited spot here. Top state park with beaches, trails, and lake views. Over 4 million visitors a year. Add it to your route after Country Fair?
No thanks. I really want to wash my car. I want to do that before anything else.
Route updated. Car wash first.
Actually, instead of car wash, I want to do a self-serve car wash with the spray wand.
Closest self-serve with wand is Wash at 1634 1.3 miles. Route updated first.
Actually, before any of this, I decided I'm really hungry, so what's the top rated restaurant within the 10-minute radius?
Kitchen at 4823 is top rated at 4.7, just 0.6 miles. Open for lunch Tuesday. Add it first before car wash.
I need to park my car for a week somewhere here. So what's the best option to do that?
Airport has safe long-term parking at $7.50 a day, covered or uncovered, about 5 miles away. Add it to route or need more spots.
I need to get cash out at an ATM. Find me the closest ATM.
Closest ATM is at 3828 just 0.3 miles. Add it first before.
You know what? Actually, I want to drive to Florida. I'm pretty sick of the snow and I want to be somewhere warm. So take me to the best place in Florida for pickleball.
Pickleball Orlando at 4141 John Young Parkway's top rated 5 stars. 835 miles to Florida sun.
Now that I think about it, I don't think my wife would like me disappearing for a couple days, so just take me home.
Route reset straight home. Just 0.4 miles, 2 minutes away. Smart call.
On the way home, I want to get my wife some flowers.
Route updated. Sign at 3857 first for flowers, then home. 4 minutes to flowers. Check your screen.
So I know I'm not the only one that thinks this is incredible. How many other people out there would believe me if I tell them I can just talk to my car like this and it will find places and adjust the navigation accordingly with updates while the car drives itself, with zero physical input from me? This is wild stuff even for someone like me that's been following the story for years and is a self-proclaimed tech nerd. I really want to take time off from work and just get my family and friends in the car and show them this tech and let them try it, because when I say it, I think most people still just shake it off like it's not actually happening, or at least to the degree I'm saying it is, because I'm the quote Tesla guy. Either way, it's not hard to extrapolate this to the Robotaxi experience. Forget needing to reach to touch the screen or type in destinations on your phone, especially if you're in a city that you're not familiar with. You don't have to do the research of finding the place you need to go. Just tell the car what you want or need and it will find the best place for you. And then years into the future, maybe Tesla starts signing deals with companies that want their establishments to be recommended. There's so many possibilities with this, and this is just the beginning. The new Model Y Standard just crushed Edmunds' range test. Not only did it beat its own EPA estimate of 321 miles, it's also the best result any Model Y has ever achieved on our test. It went 337 miles. For context, the last gen Model Y had an EPA estimate of 330 miles, but it only got 310 miles in the test. And this was a big knock on Tesla in the past. As Edmunds said, from 2018 to 2023, Tesla's model years failed to reach their EPA estimates. But now that's all changed, starting with the latest generation of the Model 3. Not only that, but Edmunds is now noticing that the vehicle's range estimates are a lot more accurate. That's a very impressive result for the standard range Model Y. We have SPY, an independent European leader, which does work in the energy industry, signing a new European framework agreement with Tesla to implement battery storage projects. This agreement, with a renewable term of 3 years, applies to all European SPY Group subsidiaries with battery storage installation expertise. Using Tesla Megapack solutions, SPY will provide high value added technical services. This framework agreement will standardize the legal and operational conditions of all European Megapack projects installed by SPY. Yet another return customer, as SPY has already been involved in several emblematic energy storage projects using Tesla's Megapacks. SPY is a pretty big company, and yes, they do some things outside of the energy market, but they have about 55,000 employees across Europe. And of course, this new standardized framework between SPY and Tesla will help Tesla to deploy more Megapacks across Europe. In short, this is going to simplify and streamline future battery storage projects across Europe in partnership with Tesla. Effectively, any SPY'd subsidiary that's qualified to install Megapacks now has a streamlined blueprint to do so. And with this one, we knew it was coming, and here it is. Luminar has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The company's aiming to sell off its LiDAR business during the proceeding and has already reached a deal to sell its semiconductor subsidiary. But Luminar will eventually cease to exist once this is completed. This after Luminar founder Austin Russell abruptly resigned from the CEO role in May this year following a code of business conduct and ethics inquiry. And before he resigned, we all remember the video he did with his friend Mark Rober making Tesla's FSD look as bad as possible. Now we have the proof that this fraudulent video was a Hail Mary by Luminar. What does this tell us? Well, one, everybody can say how the cost of LiDAR is coming down, but that doesn't mean the cost to make them is coming down. So the cost of goods sold for these LiDAR units might be higher than people are expecting even today. And of course, Luminar losing its biggest contract with Volvo certainly didn't help things. But there is chatter out there that Austin Russell, the founder of Luminar, might set up a new entity and then actually buy the IP from Luminar. And earlier this year, Mercedes did sign a deal with Luminar, so it's TBD what happens with that one. But Luminar being behind this Mark Rober video really left a sour taste in my mouth, so I will say good riddance. I'm obviously rooting for autonomy, but sometimes people and companies need to sleep in the beds they make. Another one where the writing was on the wall, Ford has officially canceled the F-150 Lightning. Instead, it'll come back as an extended range EV pickup. Ford also revealed a $19 billion product roadmap that outlines a major pivot to gasoline and hybrid vehicles by 2030. But the biggest news is the cancellation of the T3 full-size electric successor to the current generation model. Ford is saying the Lightning's replacement, the ER-EV, will have advanced extended range vehicle tech and have the seamless instant power of an electric powertrain and the freedom of one backed by a generator with an estimated range of more than 700 miles. So the fully electric version is dead, and now the next gen F-150 Lightning will be this ER-EV, and they're saying it'll be every bit as revolutionary. Production of the fully electric version will end this year at the Rogue EV Center. The same facility will build the future model, but the timing and specs have not been announced. And for Ford's plant in Tennessee, it'll shift to building an unnamed, affordable, gas-powered pickup. We also have all 1,600 employees of the brand new EV battery plant in Kentucky getting laid off. This before Ford converts it to make batteries for data centers and other utilities. Ford is turning this factory into, get this, a battery storage business for customers like utilities, wind and solar developers, and massive data centers that train AI. Ford expects to begin shipping battery energy storage systems from the Kentucky and Michigan plants late 2027. This in a shift to higher return opportunities. In the process, the company will take a $19.5 billion hit to its profit as it transitions away from the EV business. Farley said, instead of plowing billions into the future, knowing these large EVs will never make money, we are pivoting. Ford said they were prepared to pivot away from their original business if the demand for EVs proved to not meet production. So Ford has ended its partnership with SK, and Ford will be taking over control of that facility in Glendale and transitioning it into a battery energy storage factory. Ford has lost $13 billion on its EV business since 2023. So definitely disappointing, but what do you know? Making electric vehicles profitably at scale is a rather hard endeavor. And I guess we were right all along that no, Legacy Auto would not just do what Tesla does and better. As it turns out, they can't do it at all. For now, the Mach-E remains in production. It's just the Lightning being repurposed, Ford's next-gen T3 electric truck being outright canceled, Ford converting what was batteries for EVs to battery storage, and overall refocusing on hybrids and gas. But for now, Ford is still saying it's going to keep its universal EV platform it's expecting to launch in 2027 for smaller and more affordable pure EVs. Tesla stock has now added over $850 billion in market cap since April this year. This as Tesla stock closed the day at $475.31, up 3.56%, while the NDX was down 0.51%. The volume was 43% above the average. Don't forget, check out AG1 linked below for yourself or family and friends as a gift. It's a great time to grab all of those freebies. As always, thank you for considering supporting the channel. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.